Welcome to the faux house. We're in my backyard right now where I've got a little bit of an issue. So as you know, I kind of like to DIY a lot of stuff. And when it comes to home electrical wiring, at least in the county that I live in, you're not allowed to DIY that kind of stuff. You have to call a professional, somebody who's licensed and can pull permits if you want to have something installed, like maybe a light at the top of a pole far away from your house. So in this case, I had a couple of different options. I could, of course, run the conduit myself, deal with the HOA complaining about me drilling into their fence, deal with potential permit issues when I go to sell the house later on, or I can install solar. So that's what we're gonna do. Our friends over at CallSun sent over their full shebang. This is their 50-watt solar panel kit along with a 100 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery. And this is what's gonna be running now my backyard security light, camera, as well as some landscape lighting for my outside here. The system already runs on 12 volt, but it currently is plugged into an extension cord that runs across my backyard and across my porch so that it can plug in somewhere where it gets 110 AC. They can then be converted into 12 volt. Instead, we're just gonna go straight to 12 volt and bypass all of that. So this kit came with a 50-watt solar panel. It is one of their mini panels, as far as they call it. So again, you can kind of see the size here, and we'll see the actual panel here in just a second. It also comes with all the wiring that you would need, as well as the mounts for the solar panel so that you can mount it directly to a hard surface. I'm doing a little bit of a different mounting method here, which is why I'm not gonna go too in-depth on how I'm mounting it, because every situation is gonna be different. And I, again, want to mount it right up here at the top of this pole. As far as the battery, this is going to be something that we're also going to mount to the pole, but a little bit further down. I do want to elevate it off the ground. One, to make sure that if we ever do have any kind of heavy rain back here, it's not going to get any kind of splash back up into the battery box that I have for this. And two, I've got a couple of dogs that do like to come out here and use the facilities. So I want to make sure they're not peeing right on my battery or wiring that I may have to get into later on. So I've already set up my mounts for the solar panel as well as for the battery box on this pole back here. Now we're going to go through actually setting up the system so that you don't have to just sit here and watch me drill and saw, which basically just the last couple hours. So as far as the system that I'm going to be installing here, I am going to be using the CallSun solar inverter. This is a solar charge controller. It is just a boost controller. It's not MPPT, so it's not going to give us the best efficiency, but I've actually overrated this system by a pretty substantial amount with the panel and the battery that we have here. This should be able to run my backyard for about 3 weeks on a single charge. And because we get sun here every single day, it should actually be pretty much 100% all the time. The only time this is really going to drain this battery at all is if we do see maybe a really bad month where we get 2 days of no sunshine back to back, which very rarely happens. Now this solar charge converter I'm going to house inside of this box here. This is a box made for Group 27 batteries, so it's going to easily fit in this mini size lithium iron phosphate 100 amp battery from CallSun, plus allow me to mount the charge controller here, which I went ahead and designed and 3D printed a little bit of a mount here just with a couple teeth that perfectly fits into my Noco battery box. Now inside of this box, I've got a photoelectric cell right down here that will automatically turn my lights on and off as the sun goes down. And that's exposed to the outside of the box right here. It does have a waterproof gasket in it. And then I've got a way for my wires to get out as well. So this again will allow me to wire all of my landscape lighting. I also did purchase a 12 volt 10-watt LED light. This guy's super bright. It does also have the ability to sense daylight, and it has a motion sensor on it. So this will be going up at the top of the pole to overlook the vehicles and will give me a little bit of extra light for the security camera. And then for a security camera, I'm simply going to be using one of my it's what I use for pretty much all of my security cameras. Probably shouldn't tell that over to the internet, but you know, whatever. And it will plug in to the USB port right here on the side of the charge controller. So this is what I've set up for my mounting of the box. I simply have a 2x6 that is suspended by two 2x6s on either side that are holding it up from the bottom. I stood on this. I weigh right at about 200 pounds and it didn't budge. So this battery box is not going to have any trouble whatsoever. I think this could probably hold close to 2 or 3 of me before it would actually even start to creak a little bit. So over-engineered possibly. It does have a strap there to hold the battery down, make sure that the lid doesn't come flying off and no prying eyes get in there when I don't want them to. This is the CallSun 50-watt solar panel. Again, relatively small for a 50 watt panel. They actually originally offered me a 100 watt panel, but I didn't think I needed anything that was going to be quite that high capacity for what we're running back here. I am using their mounts into the back, and I'm not going to show y'all what it looks like on the back here because, well, you'll see it in a second probably whenever I have this actually mounted, but it's a little bit janky. I wanted something that would allow me to easily take it up and down if needed for a storm. So because of that, I've adapted a existing aluminum frame mount with a little bit of wood to make this work. So I'm going to get this guy up in the air, go ahead and get some wiring into our box, and then we will reconvene when we're getting everything plugged into the charge controller. All right, so got the panel mounted up top here. You can kind of see some of my jank there as far as the mount that I decided to use here, but it's on there. I did realize that my pole is slightly tilted, but shouldn't impact its efficacy. We are in the dead of winter right now. It's actually January, even though it doesn't seem like it outside, because it's, I want to say about 83 degrees. But yeah, we are in the dead of winter. So the sun is a little bit further down than it would be in the middle of summer, for instance. So because of that, right now, this time of day, my panel is only getting about 3/4 of the panel covered in sunlight. I may look into moving that mount up a little bit just so that we can clear a little more of the carport back here. But for now, I again think this is going to be sufficient. We'll see in a little bit because we're going to be able to tell how much we're getting out of this panel here very shortly. But let's get some wiring running into our charge controller. I just need to go ahead and shorten this wire so that it's got the right length to go from the panel and our MC4 connectors up there down to the wires. So I'll be right back with that. So in this CallSun 50 watt kit that they sent over to me, they do include, again, everything you need, including some 10 gauge wire here. It is already pre-tinned on one end and has MC4 connectors on the other. They gave us both a red and a black. I've got way more length than I need here though. Let me get that measured out, figure out exactly how much we need, cut it to size, and we'll reconvene once I've got these ready to be plugged in. I got those wires, went ahead and stripped them down, did our little twisties here. They were previously tinned, but I don't have a soldering iron out here, so we're just gonna go ahead and leave them like that. That should be sufficient. Tinning them would be preferred. They are already tinned copper wires though, and yeah, not that worried about it based on the type of connectors. So this does just have some of those clamp style connectors on the back here that we're gonna screw in with a Phillips. We've got our positive and negative for the solar panel. We've got our solar wiring in there. It's not plugged into the solar panel yet. That's going to be the next step that we take here. And then we can get our battery wired in. All right, so we have our solar charge controller wired into our solar panels. Nothing's coming on there yet because it doesn't have anything to output the power to. So that's our next step, is to make up some cables for our battery. Got some cables wired up for the battery here. Got some nice crimp-on connectors. Thanks again to our friends at Hastronica. Link down in the description if you need any tools. And this couldn't be simpler to set up. This is a pretty common style charge controller. Definitely nothing new here, but this is real nice pictures. You've got a solar panel, a battery, and then your output, your light. So yeah, nothing fancy here, and definitely nothing that you need a degree to hook up, or a certification, or a license, or whatever else they want you to have to do electricity in this country. All right, we've got that now plugged in, ready to go. We're gonna throw our battery into the system here and see what we get out of it. I did use waterproof connectors on the battery side here, but I don't expect there ever to get any water into the system. Hey, solar charge controller just came on immediately. We are reading voltage at the battery, it looks like. All right, yeah, we've got 13.2 volts, and it does show that we are currently charging the battery as well. 13.1 volts from this guy, 96, 97%. I'm guessing that's gonna be the state of charge, and then it has a temperature reading. Let's see what we're getting here. Yeah, it's telling us the voltage coming in, but not the wattage. So let's see what kind of amperage we're getting into our battery right now. So let's see, can you guys see that? I think you can. I don't have control over the lighting out here, but that's showing 2.4 amps going into the battery. That's actually kind of impressive because right now over half of that panel is shaded. So I'm getting 25 watts, a little over actually, almost 30 watts out of that panel right now, or actually 30 watts going into the controller. We're getting, yeah, 2.4 amps. So that's pretty impressive for a half covered panel to be able to get half of the charge is pretty nice. Usually you cover about 10% of them and you lose all charge. So let me go and show you guys what that looks like here. Let me verify that I've got a correct reading on my battery first. Yep, we're at 13.2 volts coming in. Beautiful. And yeah, let me, one more time. Yeah, 2.44 amps. Oh, 2.44. It's 13, 26. Yeah, so we're getting 33 watts right now out of a 50 watt panel that is, we'll just do a no cut here. So we can see 2.63 actually. It's gotten a little bit better. And there's the panel. You can kind of see the line. All right, so maybe it's right at a third. Not quite half of the panel is covered, but still pretty impressive. And one of the birds already left us a present on there. I'm kind of impressed, still getting 2.5 amps out of this. At this point, the only thing I need to do really is wire up my lights to this unit. Now that's going to be different for everyone, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time going over that. But essentially what you need to do is just make sure that you have components that are built for a 12 volt system. They make practically everything for 12 volt these days because people use them in RVs, when they're out camping and things like that. 12 volt is pretty ubiquitous. So when it came to trying to find like a motion detecting light, it was really simple. I had a lot of different choices. This one ended up coming in at the cheapest and the fastest I could get it here, just so that I could get this video turned around. But there's definitely some that will look prettier and maybe get more wife approval factor, some WAF out of it. But outside of that, yeah, you've got, again, 5 volt coming off of this guy for the USB side so that we can go ahead and get our camera mounted up there. I'll be able to kind of hide it underneath the solar panel so it's not quite as obvious. And then we'll get our lights mounted. And then our 12 volt, all we have to do for our landscape lighting is remove the current transformer that goes from the 110 AC to the 12 volt DC, and then just plug it straight into this 12 volt. Again, I'm going to go through that Photocell so that it turns on automatically at night and I don't have to worry about messing with any of the extra settings, messing with timers or with smart devices or anything like that. It's just going to be a dumb system. It's going to turn on, turn off, and frankly should just manage itself. This should be good for 10 years. Once I get this buttoned up, I expect to not have to touch it unless that light goes out or unless I replace the camera at some point with something a little bit nicer maybe. But yeah, that's essentially it. So this, again, for a kit like this, you're talking a minimal investment. It is something you can completely DIY with a couple of hand tools. I mean, an idiot like me can do it, and you've seen some of the stuff that I put out. This is gonna be pretty great. I'm gonna get this buttoned up, get it put onto the pole, run our wire out so that I'm ready to plug it into the light, and then I'll probably do that off camera because I'm starting to lose daylight right now, and then I'll come and show us a full after to see what it looks like. And then maybe we can get some clips out here at night as well so we can see what that landscape lighting ends up looking like.